Hello, good afternoon, good evening if you're somewhere else in the world, but welcome to episode 14 of The Focus with me, Stephen O'Donnell, and my very, very special guest today is Christina Robinson from Green Umbrella. Good afternoon, Christina, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm tremendous. I should just mention to everyone we had, at the very last minute, we had a technical glitch that meant that things were going a bit awry, but we've made it. We're here. We're making the show.
We're cool. We're calm. We're almost collected.
Yep. Brows have been mopped. We're all right. Panic over. So, welcome again to The Focus. Obviously, it's a show entirely about video and recruitment, all the myriad ways in which you can be using video and recruitment, and really there's no limit on that. So each week we talk about a different topic. Each week we have a different guest, a different expert with different knowledge and expertise. Last week we had the absolutely stellar Janine Owen from Search Consultancy. Search Consultancy have an in-house videographer, and they put out blindingly good video content on a regular basis. The videographer is up to here with work, and the content they put out they're a pretty chunky size recruitment agency, and they do that. The week before that, we had Mark Hopkins, very small agency, and he's putting out video content for marketing purposes all the time. And again, it shows you the different ranges that you can do. So today we have the absolutely delightful Christina Robinson from Green Umbrella. Christina, you are speaking with agencies, recruiters across the board all the time about video and recruitment and how they can leverage that to get their job done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there's a lot of conversations about how to like even now, just how to get started with video.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite an overwhelming thing really for people. So not only in how do I not embarrass myself on screen, but also just actually what will I talk about? It's a bit like presenting to a room. It's people they do too much thinking on it and then they put it off.
It's a bit like I liken it to an artist sitting in front of a blank piece of paper and just getting started. And the getting started is difficult. And people who are watching who maybe have blogged, then it's the same sort of thing where you think, oh, what am I going to write about? And the truth is you already have all the stories and all the things that you want to talk about in your mind. You just need to pare away the stuff that's irrelevant and find the story. So for context, Christina, maybe not everyone, and everyone should, frankly, but maybe not everyone knows either that much about Green Umbrella or that much about yourself. But I know that you've been in recruitment marketing or training and social media for since 2013. With Green Umbrella. Tell us a wee bit about yourselves and Green Umbrella, if you can.
Yeah, so it's Green Umbrella Marketing, so focuses on the marketing, not on the umbrella. So even though we're going into our 10th year of business, people still they just focus on the umbrella bit, and that is what we do. Couldn't be further from the truth.
Okay.
Core of our business is social media management, digital marketing services, but we also do print and design as well. So we're working within the recruitment sector is a massive part of our business, and it's everything from sort of agency, sort of the bigger agencies, bigger independent agencies, I should say, and the kind of solo operator as well. So it's about building. I always say we work with people that lack the time, the enthusiasm, or the courage to get started online.
So you're able to inject that enthusiasm and maybe give them some structures to get where they need to be.
Yeah, it's I'm constantly either reining people in, going, no, don't spend all day doing that. Just do this bit, and this is where you're going to get your results. Yeah. Or beating them with a stick because they still haven't actually, published that blog or sent that email marketing piece or updated LinkedIn. So it's quite it's an interesting business to be in.
And I know because I am one. I know how agency owners think, or at least I was one. How agency owners think and how recruiters think, or at least I'd like to think that I do. But in terms of agency recruiters and agency recruiter owners, the mindset is different to people in TA when thinking about marketing. What would you say was the defining characteristic that made them stand out one from the other?
So you mean as in like who's kind of leveraging it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So if I was a TA recruiter, then I might be thinking, this is my opinion, I might be thinking about the wider world of marketing my organization, my employer branding, my EVP, and the talk about marketing is much more expected in that larger organization, whereas within an agency, you're the distance of where you're thinking ahead is much shorter. Your horizon is maybe only a couple of weeks or a couple of months into the future, and you have immediate problems and immediate needs right now. You have a job to fill, a client to satisfy, and so on. So you're not really thinking about the broader branding of your agency, or indeed the personal branding of your individual recruiters in the organization. So it's they have more immediate needs, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it definitely comes down to scale. It comes down to volume of recruitment. So people that are recruiting at volume are definitely far more open to the marketing piece. I'd say there's still a lot to, there's been loads of conversation about, we've kind of gone from, marketing and sales being similar things to recruitment and marketing being similar things. That's kind of where the topics have been. And I think that on the TA side of things, it's kind of, no, we're recruiters, not marketers, but they're more open to actually, but if we adopt those strategies, we can see where the benefit's going to be. Because they're looking at pipelines, they're looking at the funnels and that kind of thing. Whereas, on the agency side, it's still very much, these are two very separate things. And there's a lot of conversation there's still loads of conversation about the ROI of social. Which I kind of, 5 years ago, if I'd have been asked to predict it, I'd have said, but by the time we get to now, we'd be past that. People would be understanding of that. So I think that's quite a big difference across the two as well.
Yeah. And with social, there can be immediate results, but you do need to think bigger picture, and you do need to think in terms of strategy and campaign, and not doing something today for a result next week. It's going to be.
Do it's a bit of a silly analogy, and I'm not sure how your audience will take it, but
go for it.
I always sort of say it's the social media piece. If I'm really trying to get someone to buy in and understand the value of it, it's a bit like buying a house. Okay, when you look at all your marketing stuff, when you're looking at buying a house, you find that dream house and you think, oh my God, I love, the windows. It's got this little window seat, garden's amazing. There's an Arga oven in there if that's your thing, or the breakfast bar. No one ever says, they don't come home and they don't say, I've found the house, it's perfect, I've put an offer in because I need to have that cement. The cement is orgasmic. No one says that when they're buying a house, do they? And it kind of rings true in your marketing as well. The social media piece alone is not a superhero. It's not going to get you the results you want. But if you're using that to maximize on everything else you do, then all of a sudden you've got a really strong structure that is going to bring that candidate in for you. And whether it is agency side and you are looking short term and you just need that couple of people to fit those positions, or it's because you need 500 people in your funnel because that's what the turnover is going to be on the TA side of things.
So obviously we're here to talk about video. Video is the thing, and from a video perspective, there's no limit on the type of video content you can be creating. Yes, you can have video content that might brand your organization as all the things you want it to be as a recruitment firm. It might be that you have a video that brands you as an individual recruiter, as an expert in your field, and you've been in the industry for X number of years. You're a member of whatever professional body and so on. And equally, and those are maybe longer burns, but or videos that would last for a long time. But equally, you can have videos that might be, I have a vacancy for my client, IBM, ICI, whichever company, and I'm looking to fill this job now. Please apply. And you're looking for an immediate response there. So there are all different types of video content. But when you're speaking with recruiters, what's the main resistance that you experience when they're saying, well, I'm not sure I can do that?
It's them being on camera.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah.
Are they shy? Are they bashful?
I think they're terrified. I honestly think that's what it is. There is a percentage that are, quite happy to jump on camera, or they're immediately thinking who in their team can they get to do it, but they're the last person on the list.
I don't typically imagine recruiters to be backward and coming forward. So that might be a surprise to a lot of people that recruiters are bashful.
I think, I think it's like being in the hot seat. So it's that, they'll pick up the phone. Well, most of them will pick up the phone, and and they're happy to talk and they're happy to chat and that kind of thing. But actually, this is going to be recorded. It's it's on tape, so to speak. So it's kind of that's it. It can't. It's like it's permanent, and I think that's where the fear comes in. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I stutter? What if I embarrass myself? And I think it's like anything else. You kind of have that sort of immediate apprehension. But like I said, it's everyone has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Go on.
I have a theory that recruiters have an innate fear of being judged, because as a recruiter, you're judging candidates all the time. You're assessing candidates. You're looking at CVs and resumes all day, every day, and you're weighing them up. Is this candidate any good? Will they do? So you're doing that all the time. You're judging people, and there's no bones about that. That's exactly what you're doing. But they are nervous of being the person being judged. In the same way as if I was interviewing a recruiter, often recruiters get a little, weird about being interviewed because they're on the spot, they're not in control. So if they were going on camera, the same fears that everyone has about hearing their own voice or seeing themselves on the screen, and they don't sound the way they think they sound, and they don't look the way they would want to look. Do you know, the truth is that's exactly what you do look like. This here is exactly what I look like. It might be you'll catch me on a good day and I look better, and a bad day I look much, much worse. But for the most part, this is what you get. And if they're not used to that by now, whatever age they are, then they need to get over themselves. But whenever anyone meets anyone, so if I was interviewing a candidate today, they come in, they sit down, and I'm silently judging them the entire time. But the truth is the candidate's doing the exact same thing in reverse. Candidate's doing it with a recruitment consultant, and a candidate's doing it with a hiring manager. If they're going along for a job, they're assessing the hiring manager. They're thinking, do I like the look of you? Do I think I could work with you? Do I like the company? So everything is being judged all the time. But when you're on camera, then you are literally putting yourself in the shop window and asking people to make up their mind about you. Do they believe you? Do they trust you? Do they think that you can string a sentence together? And if you make a mess of it, then it's going to be embarrassing. But if you only make one video a year, then yes, absolutely, people will judge on that video. But if you make 10, then the odd video that's not as good as the others, people forget. It's not important.
Absolutely. And I do think there's a bit of imposter syndrome kind of kicks in as well. And, I think that does have an effect. One of the things I'm really keen with recruiters we work with is that, okay, you're nervous of doing video, so do 1, do 2, do 10, do 20. They don't have to go out in public domain. They stay in your camera roll. But actually every video you do, you are going to get more comfortable. You are going to think less about the framing because it's almost like you don't have to think about it anymore. So it is just kind of just getting into the habit.
If I was speaking with a recruiter who was talking about a vacancy on camera, if they were talking about a job, I'm hiring for my client, we need a X, Y, and Z, then in terms of a prompter for what, because they're thinking, well, what can I say? How can I say it? When you're interviewing a candidate, when a candidate comes in to sit with me for a job for a design engineer or whatever, or with any hiring manager, then the first couple of minutes, the recruiter sitting at the table, the onus is on them to tell the candidate about the job, the prospects, the what it can lead to, what training there is, what type of colleagues there are, and so on. So you're already doing that when you're sitting live with a candidate and you're selling, you're pitching the job and all the benefits that can come for the successful candidate. That's exactly what you're doing on a video for a job advert. You don't need to be, in fact, you really shouldn't be reading out the job spec and bullet points. Bullet points are terrible to read on video. You can't do that. But you need to be conversational. But you're already doing that in every interview that you do. Just do it on camera.
Yeah. So I think, again, in that scenario, you're getting the feedback from the other person as well, even if it's just like the visual cues. So, one of the things there's two kind of things that I'd sort of suggest. So one is, post-it notes on your screen. And we're not talking bullet points. We're talking, it might just be a word or two words, and they just act as prompts.
I've got a post-it note on my screen that says, look at the camera, because if she's watching Maury Hannigan a few weeks ago, she said, you're looking down here the whole time, whereas you should be looking right into the lens. So look at the camera and stop humming and hawing. I tend to, and everyone does something. Maybe you get suddenly very blinky, people do these things, and afterwards they learn, oh, that's the thing that I do. Maybe I should do less of that.
Do you know, it's so little, I don't know how comfortable I am sharing this. One of the things I've learned is I actually, although I'm quite, spoken at the Rec Expo and, other things, and I just go for it, you know, and I'm just like, don't feel the fear, do it anyway. Okay. But doing these kinds of things, I feel quite a different kind of pressure with it. And I end up with like a heat rash on my neck. So I try, if I know I'm going to do something like this in the morning, I'm thinking, right, no V-necks. Because actually, if I then spot that I'm starting to get this rash where I'm stressed out, then, it has an effect. So it is little things like that. It's things like, I'm in the office today, so I've got one of our banners behind me. But if I move the camera just a little bit to the right, you start to, it's not such a tidy background. So you think about things like that as well. But you only do that once you've done a few and you start to identify something that you can change.
Setting the scene, actually, on that point, setting the scene is really important for confidence, because when you see the video, if you saw whether it was on the outside of your banner there, if I go on the outside of my banner here, let's have a look at the mess in my office. So I've got boxes of crap stacked up over here. I've got,
I'm sure it's highly organized boxes of crap.
No, it's terrible. But again, in any office, you can have all sorts of rubbish going on, but you can set the scene behind you. First of all, brand something behind you, because that video is going to be shown in any number of other locations. You don't know where. So, have a company logo somewhere, have it nice and clean, have it the lighting so that you're in good relief to it, and people are not seeing your, if people are working from home, they've not got a rack of clothes drying in the background, that sort of thing. But actually, if you set the scene, then what you've got on camera, you can be more confident about, and it's not difficult to do this sort of thing. If people have got banners, then pop them up.
Yeah, I mean, we've done things before where we've, just like you can get like wider pop-up banners. And it might cost you £100, something like that. It's something can be done reasonably. If you are investing in video, there are things like that you can do reasonably, sort of in an inexpensive way. I have suggested to my husband that we paint one of the walls in the kitchen green. Just give me a bit more flexibility as well. But it is actually, you can do things that are quite simple. Just a plain white wall. If you're somewhere and it's just a case of positioning yourself where everything else is out of shot, then all of a sudden it's about the perception you want to create.
And it needn't be expensive. Just a little bit of thinking ahead. And when you do those things, the doing of those things reconfirms to you, I'm doing this, and I'm going to make sure the scene is set, so I'll be comfortable, and I don't need to worry about anything extraneous being an effect on the quality of the video afterwards. So I can focus on what I'm talking about. The other thing I say to recruiters is, if I was if I was asked to give a talk, or for I don't know 10 or 15 minutes on some random subject that I didn't know much about, I'd really struggle. I might study the night before, I might try and cram all the information in, but I'd struggle because my heart wasn't in it. It's not something I can do. But if I was to talk about something that I knew a lot about, so recruitment would obviously be one, but there are lots of other things. If someone was, I don't know, the biggest Harry Connick Jr. fan in the world, then they could yak about that for hours, no doubt. And I try and say to them, look, remember that on this topic, for this vacancy, for this client, for this project you're working on, you actually are the expert. You know more about this than anyone else. Show that, just display that. And the people who are watching, there's no way, unless they're the hiring manager with the client, there's no way they can know more about this topic than you. So don't think you're going to be found out for not knowing enough. And when you're talking about recruitment, again, remember, when you're a recruitment consultant, they're using you for your expertise. So don't be shy of, standing up and saying, I know more about this than most others because I'm an expert. And when you're on camera, display your expertise, demonstrate it, show people that you know what you're talking about. It's your specialist subject after all.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the Post-it note idea,
Yeah.
I always think, so people are going to watch this video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've come into this thinking, right, we're going to be talking about video. What are there are key takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
If I could leave one thought in the head of everyone that watches this, what would that be?
Yeah.
And then I need to, if I'm worried that I'm going to just start blathering and go completely off topic, if I've got that prompt there to make sure, right, at some point I need to communicate this particular point.
Yeah.
If you are talking about a vacancy, let's say, there's three major sort of points around that vacancy that will really sell it, then actually have those on your Post-it notes to make sure you do actually, communicate that when you're talking.
Yeah.
Just helps keep you on track.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things, and so this show is not a pitch for Video My Job, but in Video My Job, we have built into the app the Teleprompter. So the Teleprompter is one of those great ways where you can prepare all your content in advance. You know what you're going to be talking about. You've set it so that you can speak it in a conversational style without it sounding too officious, and you can set the speed of the teleprompter so that it's going at your natural pace. So the content of what you're going to talk about is, in this case, it's the teleprompter's in the phone, and you're looking at the camera, so you're looking at the teleprompter at the same time, and it means that you're looking at the eye of the person who's watching the video, and having that reassurance means that everything you want to say, you're going to get the content there, and you're not going to miss out on something, and afterwards think, oh, I'll need to take it again. Or I've fluffed my words, or every time I was trying to remember what I was going to say or read my notes. If you do that, you're disengaging with candidates. So being able to look directly at them is really important.
And you sort of said about fluffing your words. Actually, that's what makes you a real recruiter in that video.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means it is raw, it makes you more accessible, more relatable. Actually, it's fluffing those words that probably is going to bring you success with that video.
Yeah. Well, it shows that authenticity where you're just as normal as anyone else, and you might mispronounce something. I was doing something yesterday, and for the life of me, I can't, when I want to, if I'm on screen, I can't say the word statistics. I've said it there now, but I often
a lot of concentration.
Yeah. Well, I built myself up to it, but so I'll end up saying stats. But if there are some things that you think I'm just going to trip up over that, then find a way around it. Say stats, not statistics.
I did one of these with someone a few months ago, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but I was then talking about a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Only I had no awareness of this. I'd completely lost the word steering. So I was talking about a driving wheel for about, I don't know how many minutes. And then he was like, oh, hold on, I've got to stop you. What's a driving wheel? Mm-hmm. And I was like, a driving wheel. And all of a sudden it just dawned on me. But actually, that's probably, as an outtake, is going to be really, really sort of, quite entertaining. Mm. But it is that we're all human. And I encourage people, yes, go and have the, high value production kind of video for your business. But when it comes to your social media content, actually, for every one video where you've had a video production company come in, you should have 10 or 20 raw videos that are the editing's at a minimum. It's, like I said, it's very authentic. It's very real.
And you get to the point quick. So in our experience, video, if you're doing a video for a vacancy that you're hiring for, or even just a video profile of yourself, then the optimum time would be somewhere between a minute and 2 minutes. If you can hit a minute, then that's perfect. If you go to a minute and a half, that's fine. But you need to grab their attention within the first 10 seconds. You need to say something that lets them know there's more to come. You should hang around for this. So in your experience, what do you give by way of guidance on that?
Okay, so listening to sort of the algorithms and that kind of thing, what the social media platforms are looking for, ideally they want a video that's like 3 minutes long. Facebook especially wants a video of that length, but it's actually quite hard to talk for 3 minutes when it's just you on camera.
Yeah.
So, again, people that are kind of taking that step into video, I say don't worry about how long it is, because the more comfortable you get, the more you'll slow down how you speak, and then your videos are automatically longer, and you get to a point where you're kind of more worried about saying too much and how to make it 3 minutes and not 10. But yeah, ideally 3 minutes. But if you've got a 3 minute video and you can kind of cut that down a little bit, almost, I don't know, what film did you last watch? Something at the cinema or something at home? There would have been trailers for that.
Yes.
So you kind of got the feature length video, and we've put the energy into producing that. But actually, let's go get some little snippets. If there's 3 takeaways, let's have a snippet of each takeaway, share that. And the great thing is, you could put it on LinkedIn. Here's my little snippet. If you want to find out more, here's the link to watch the full length on YouTube, for example. So actually, you're kind of driving people to gather those views on YouTube. Obviously, it's a Google product. There's a lot of value in having that engagement there. So it's about then cutting things and making them work cohesively.
The old speaker's adage of tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them, and then tell them what you told them is really important. So if you're going to have a video that, say it's going to be 3 minutes, then at the beginning, tell them, what I'm going to tell you is about this job. It's an amazing job. It's this, it's that. I'll tell you the salary. I'll tell you the location. So you kind of lead up to the content, and then you get into the meat and bones of it, and then you recap at the end. And vital at the end is you have to have a call to action. There's no point in having them just watch the video and then go away, with a happy thought in their head. You need to make them follow through and either apply for that job or go to that landing page or register or any number of other things.
Absolutely. And funny enough, we've just started a paid advertising campaign on Facebook for a recruiter who is, they're looking at volume. It is more of a TA than an agency exercise, really, on paper anyway. And what we've done is we've got a video at stage 1. And there is no call to action on that, because essentially what we want to do is have people watch that video. Because through paid activity on Facebook, anyone that can bear to watch 50% of this video that is about working with this business, actually, they've got to be engaged enough to get that far into the video. So that is a data set we can now use and advertise to, but the next layer of advertising kicks in so that we can then take them through a funnel. When we get to the point where we're giving that call to action to download something, hit the landing page, whatever, we've got that familiarity, we've got that awareness. But if we didn't have that video at the beginning, it just doesn't work as successfully as an overall campaign.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So we've come to that point in the show, Christina. We always every week we talk about videos of the week and videos that either inspire us or give great examples of content that we could take inspiration from. So I'm going to share my screen just now. If I just click on the right buttons here, and actually one thing that I want to point out, I think ties in with. So as a marketer, I think you'll appreciate this. So this video here. I'll make sure the volume's down because I know it's quite loud. First of all, you might think, yeah, this is all in Dutch. Why am I going to be watching the content here? But what I really want to point out in this is, short video as it is nice and bright. The woman on camera is obviously very engaging, but more importantly, it's been SEO'd. It's been SEO'd. So this content here is obviously largely in Dutch. We've got a little bit of English there, but they know that every video that's being picked up by Google, because it's on YouTube, then the content is going to be indexed for SEO. So if you want to be searching for content on vacancies that are tied in with this, then this has got a much higher chance of coming up in the search results on Google or indeed on any other search engine. So it always bears in mind when you're coming down to the marketing of your videos, try and SEO them. Put the content in there.
Yeah, I would follow up on that when I can see they've done it on here. So obviously, you know, we're constantly seeing sort of rolls out of changes and that kind of thing. And a few months ago, 6 months ago maybe, YouTube rolled out the adding hashtags into your descriptions.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of work at the minute with clients sort of saying, well, actually, you've had videos that have been there for the last couple of years. Go back, edit those descriptions.
Yeah.
Add those hashtags in and, and tweak them. Are they still as strong as you think they are? Is there something you need to do in those descriptions to just beef them up? Because 5 years ago, people, I would use hashtag recruitment marketing now, whereas it probably, it wasn't a buzz phrase 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's things like that as well to make sure you just keeping everything you do up to date.
Absolutely. No, there's another video I wanted to draw attention to, and it's actually a company I was speaking with. I'll turn the volume down on this, and this is more of your slick, polished video. It's a bit like a little movie, to be honest. And it's for a company called CDK. CDK Global are basically they make software for car dealerships and vehicle dealerships worldwide, but. And this kind of goes against a lot of the thing we were talking about in the rest of the show. But the way that this video is being created, it's only a minute long. All of the shots in this could be filmed really inexpensively. There's no real expensive gear necessary for this. You can tell that story in a short time. You can get to from the beginning to the end. You're seeing the human aspect of the impact of their software. So the software they sell is not in itself that exciting, but what they're saying is what comes of it is much more exciting. So they're talking about people in car dealerships, car salespeople on the shop floor. And actually, coincidentally, in the past couple of weeks, I've been speaking with a number of car dealerships, and they talk a lot about the personalities of those people that are working for them, and being able to tap into that from a recruitment point of view in a video is absolutely the way to go. You're tuning into your audience, you're tuning into what's going to get them to respond, and you're telling a story. And recruiters can do that as well in the videos they put together.
I think as well, it's the from a TA perspective, it's creating videos where the viewer can actually feel a bit of affinity. So actually, in watching that video, that is somewhere I could fit in. It's that piece as well that can be really, really valuable. Yeah.
So I'm noticing that time's pressing on. I'm just going to unshare my screen. Let's just do that there. So Christina, top tips time. If you were giving someone who hadn't filmed themselves before some top tips on how to overcome any reservations they have about either the reasons for filming and the benefits of it, or getting themselves on camera, what would those be?
So keep it simple to start off with. So like I said, don't think about the time. Just think about doing a video. Have one idea, and that's what we're going to communicate.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And like I said, just use your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Be somewhere quiet and comfortable, and just feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes.
No one has to see that recording. Okay, and you can do it 20 times, you can do it 120 times, and when you send it to me, you can tell me it was the first take.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, you can get over the being embarrassed with yourself, because it's only yourself who's doing it and seeing it.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you're practicing.
Yeah, and I when I'm presenting on this, we've got a slide, and it's like Nanny McPhee with, you know, the warts and the big nose, and we basically say your message is more important than your appearance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that does really ring home with, you know, it really kind of makes a lot of people go, actually, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
It's also, so I'm then kind of think about where you do it.
Yeah.
Do it, if you can, do it with a window in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not behind you.
No, that's you know, when you go on calls with someone on Skype and there's always someone who's got the window behind them, so they're in complete darkness. It's not good.
Yeah. And then, like I said, it is just get it done, and then just share it within a small group of people initially.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I would say we're no one's completely spending a fortune on this, and there's no need to spend a fortune on this stuff. But if you have, say, £100, and you think, well, with £100, what can I do to make the environment or the output of the video look good? Well, whether you were using your smartphone that you have already anyway, so that's tech you've already got. You can get nice lights that cost maybe £20-30, LED lights from Amazon, and as you say, film yourself sitting in front of a light window where you've got natural light, which is the best light, and try and make sure you've got some branding behind you on a clear, uncluttered background.
Yeah.
The biggest investment there is just the time planning it, and if you do that and then buy a couple of little items that can make your life so much better.
Yeah. I mean, if there was one thing I was going to, so the first thing you need to buy is a microphone.
Yeah.
So even like, just like you can get like a Rode microphone that fits in your mobile phone, like a lapel mic, and actually all of a sudden your sound is so much better. And if the picture's not great, people can live with it.
Yeah.
It's if the sound is crap, that's when people switch off and they don't want to know.
Too many times I've seen people and they've got the headphones that came with their smartphone, and it sounds like they're in a tin can. So get a decent microphone, and that'll work wonders. And you might not feel the benefit of it because you're not hearing yourself. Everyone else is. So the investment that you're making is in how people are seeing and perceiving you. And if you want to check, then hear yourself back. If your mic is terrible, it's not going to cost too much to replace it. Get something that's going to be reliable and good quality. And same goes for, as I say, if you're recording on a webcam, a nice webcam, £50, £60, you'll get a cracker. On the right-hand side, people who are watching, I've put a link to my tech accessories for desktop recording, which also applies for doing Skype calls and video calls live. So the content that's in there is all relatively inexpensive, and you will see huge returns on using some of that kit, and I would definitely recommend it. So, Christina, we've gone a bit over time. We've gone to 38 minutes. I think it's been a fantastic show. You've definitely been the best guest we've ever had.
Till next week.
Till next week. But in the meantime, you currently hold the record. But thank you very much for joining me. It's been great having you on.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And thanks all the guests who've turned up, chatted in the chat on the side, and watched us live. And of course, everyone who's watching us on replay. We know that we maybe get 3 or 4, sometimes 5 times as many people watching on replay as watch live. So I know that because we've changed the time this week to Friday at 12 o'clock, not Thursday at 4, then that's maybe changed people's diaries around a wee bit. But anyone who has joined us, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for joining us, and Ian. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week. Next week, we might need to jiggle about the time again because I know I'm going to be down in that London. But I'll keep everyone posted. Until then, thank you very much, Christina. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And I'll see you all next week.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.